Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. This is a series of spotlights on remarkable exit planning advisors from across the country. Joining me on this segment is John Gautreau. He's the founder of Next Gen Exit Plan, LLC. John, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you having me.
John, tell us a little bit about your work and specifically, who are the types of folks that you specialize in helping?
Well, I was a CPA for 42 years, and then I retired and took up this particular certification. It's helping entrepreneurs move themselves, transitioning themselves from the businesses they have into their next life, whatever that might be, retirement or another business or so forth. So it's helping them bring the value of their business up before they sell it or get rid of it.
So these business owners are great at growth every day. But when it comes to exiting and perhaps selling or handing it down the business, how much thought have they put into that?
Not a lot, typically. Most people, and kind of what brought me to this was I had to exit my own CPA practice because of some medical problems. So it kind of brought me to the forefront of wanting to be able to help people do this. They haven't thought a lot about it. A lot of times entrepreneurs have become fat, happy, and lazy, right? Their business is doing well, the bank account's doing well, but they could bring their earnings before taxes and stuff up considerably, which would improve the value of the business. So that's our goal, is to focus them strategically rather than day-to-day business.
One of the inspirations of this series is to shed some light on the importance of planning before you exit a business. So let's unpack that a little bit. What are some of the dangers that people face if they're not properly planned to exit?
Well, probably the most significant danger is that people want to turn the business over to their children. That's a big thing in America, right? 70% of those turnovers fail, only 30% succeed. So first thing is we try to talk to them about is the children that they want to move the business to. And if they do, are the children passionate about it? Are they crazy about working in it? Do they like it? Do they have the same feel for it that the dad or the mother, an entrepreneur, has? So that's one thing. There were also 275 baby boomer businesses going up for sale every day in the United States. There's 6,000 people turning 45, less than 65 every day. So there's much less in the way of buyers and things. So one of the things that people need to look at is a second line of management and maybe building in their own purchaser of their own business.
Are there any big myths or misconceptions or preconceived notions that business owners hold that may keep them from having success or ignoring the planning aspect?
I think probably the thing that I find most is most business owners, their business is their baby. It's probably more their baby than their family is to them. And so they think they're going to outlive their business, and disability or death are, two real factors of life that could impact the business. And if you don't have someone who is familiar with the product, the service, the customers, and know the relationships, then you have nothing to transfer. If the entrepreneur holds all the goodwill in his own hands, he has nothing to sell if he dies. And we've seen that situation before with a $30 million business. Family ended up getting nothing because the entrepreneur was the only one who knew how to do anything.
Let's talk about the planning process and the how-tos sort of for a minute. And I know it's a broad question, but if you can give us a 10,000 foot view, when you begin to work with a client, what are the big areas of focus that you help them with to start getting ready to plan?
Well, I have something called an exit map assessment, and it focuses on 4 areas: financials, into other strategic areas. And what we do, I personally am a quarterback is the way I look at it. And I pull the entrepreneur's team together. Their estate planner, their certified financial planner, their CPA, their operations of people. And I say, to tell you this way, Mark, I live near the Gulf of Mexico, and I tell people your boss wants to buy a 50-foot yacht and he can only afford a 40-foot yacht, because an entrepreneur's net worth is 80% of his net worth is tied up in the business. So we got to raise the value of that business to get him a 50-foot yacht. So what we do is build a strategic plan, and I become a quarterback of that plan and an accountability coach to move the plan forward.
John, you mentioned in the beginning your CPA background. Tell us what inspired you to take that next step and help business owners with their exit plans. How'd you get started?
Well, I got started because I actually had some health problems and had a couple of years that I had to retire early, 4 years early from mandatory retirement in the firm that I was with. I had merged with my firm 10 years before. Thank goodness I had done my own exit planning and I was able to find something else to do. And really, I've always been about helping entrepreneurs and helping people. And this is something that is desperately needed. It's kind of a new facet because we're moving into the baby boomers retirement age now. And there are, like I said, there are 275 businesses going up for sale every day. So there's a lot of help needed. And people just don't think about that it's going to happen to them.
And to your point, it could happen without you even wanting it to happen. So the planning is probably even more essential sooner than later. So John, before I ask you my last question, is there anything that I didn't think to ask you that you feel is important to share with business owners that are considering exiting or selling their business in the near future?
Well, I think it goes even more than the near future, Mark. I mean, let's go to Stephen Covey and say, begin with the end in mind. When I start a business, I really ought to be wondering how I'm going to get out of it. Because if I have a really successful business, I might want to sell it in 5 years. So it's not necessarily people who are thinking about it or retiring or close to it. That's kind of our common situation. But really, even a 45-year-old who's been successful, he's facing disability or death and needs to be prepared for that. So everyone, I think, is the key to this. Is every business owner should be considering it.
Sage advice. John, for those listening business owners realizing that they need to get their houses in order, and if they'd like to speak with you, how do they find you, connect with you, and learn more?
My website is nextgenexitplan.com, and my email address is on there, and my calendar is on there, and my phone number is on there, so they can find me very easily at nextgenexitplan.com.
John, this has been terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time to share with my audience today, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it, and I wish you the same. You have a great day.
That was John C. Gautreau II, and he's the founder of Next Gen Exit Plan, LLC. And this segment's brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate consumers, grow their businesses and practices, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining me.